The Nutcracker, illustrated by Pat Thompson. On Christmas Eve, on Christmas Eve, no other evening is so exciting as I'm sure you'll agree. Marie, who was 7 years old, was eagerly waiting for the magic of Christmas Eve. She and her older brother Fritz had been listening to the comings and goings and strange noises from the living room all day. Fritz had even sped a dark, hunched man coming from the living room. Spied the dark, hunched man coming from the living room. This could only be their godfather, Papa Dosselmeyer. Look, there he is. And there's Fritz and his little sister, Marie. Kind of talking together. Pretty red ribbon. Oh, look at that pretty Christmas tree. At last, after a whole day of listening and waiting and nearly bursting with excitement, Marie and her brother were allowed into the living room. And what do you think they saw when they came through the door? Why, just the most beautiful, shining Christmas tree there ever was. Little candles twinkled on the branches, and there were little toys and candies and ornaments too. Oh, how marvelous, Marie exclaimed. Fritz jumped up in the air and hollered, "Stupendous!" It is a beautiful Christmas tree, isn't it? I like the red ribbon all going through it, the red bow at the top. Look at that. And what was over there? A wooden horse for Fritz, who simply adored horses, and a whole new set of soldiers for his army. For Marie, there was a new doll. Marie immediately named her Clara, because no doll should have to go very long without a proper name. And the most beautiful dress in all the world, with colored ribbons and buttons. And then Papa Dosselmeyer came into the room with a splendid surprise. A wonderful castle with golden towers and sparkling windows. And there was a tiny Papa Dosselmeyer, no taller than a finger, which appeared at the castle door, going out and going in again. The grown-ups oohed and awed over the castle. Marie, who was a polite little girl, thanked her godfather for the castle before going to play with her new doll. So look at this. There's a castle, and there's a miniature Papa Dosselmeyer right down there. And look at her doll, and Fritz's soldiers that he got, and back here, like a toy horse. Oh, look. Who's she looking at? Marie was just bending over to pick up Clara when she spied a little man hiding under the lowest branches of the tree. "Father, who does this little man belong to?" Marie asked. "He is a nutcracker, and he belongs to everyone. Let me show you what he can do." Father picked up the odd-looking man. He put on almond between the little man's teeth, pulled down the nutcracker's short wooden cape, and crack! Pieces of shells fell everywhere, and Father handed the nut to Marie. "Wonderful," she said. "He is an adorable little man." "Well," said Father, "since you love him so dearly, already. I will place him in your keeping. Of course, you must share him with Fritz. Oh, I will, said Marie, as she hugged the strange wooden man. Marie the put only the softest and smallest nuts in the Nutcracker's mouth. She did not want him to ruin his big smile or his wide white teeth. So it's a Nutcracker right there. And right there's his cape. You pick up the cape, you put the nut in his mouth and cracks the nut right there. Listen, let me see, a voice demanded. Marie turned to Fritz, who grabbed Nutcracker from Sister's hands. He started feeding Nutcracker the very hardest nuts. Nutcracker's teeth gave in with a terrible crunch, and 3 teeth popped out on the floor. There they are. Poor Nutcracker. He looked so fine in his uniform and shiny black boots. He had a broken jaw. Give him back, Marie said. She took Nutcracker into her arms. You are a terrible monster, Fritz. I don't know why you would like such an ugly old thing anyway, said Fritz. Well, I do, Marie cried. I'm going to take care of him and make him better. She bandaged his broken jaw with a ribbon of silk and from her new dress. Then she took her wounded Nutcracker to the large glass cabinet in the living room where they kept their favorite dolls and toys. Marie looked at Clara. I'm sorry, Clara, she said, but Nutcracker is badly wounded, and I know you wouldn't mind giving up your bed to him. Now, will you? Clara did not mind. Very good. Now, rest well. Nutcracker, it is late. Papa Drosselmeyer will fix your teeth and jaw tomorrow, and you'll be good as new. Oh, he wasn't very careful. She goes, oh my. Oh, let's see what's going on here. A lot of things going on. Just read and find out. As Marie turned to go upstairs to bed, the tall grandfather clock chimed the midnight hour, and the strangest thing happened. Marie heard strange squeaking and clattering behind her. She spun around and, could it be? Hundreds of mice were pouring out from under the sofa and chair and from between the cracks of the doors. Look, there they are. And they have crowns on their heads. And then okay, I read that one. So they all came out. Oh, and then a terrible rumbling shook the floor, and up came a giant mouse king and 7 heads, and those heads wore 7 crowns. Wow. I've come for Nutcracker, and he will be mine, he shouted. Nutcracker leaped from the glass cabinet, leading Fritz's toy soldiers. The army fought bravely, shouting gumdrop cannonballs and awful mice. But the Mouse King suddenly sprang at Nutcracker. Stay away from him, Marie shouted. She threw her left shoe into the fray, and it hit the Mouse King right on his many heads. He ran away with the other mice. Marie fainted right then and there. See, there goes her shoe flying. He's going to get him. Marie woke in her very own bed. Had it all been a dream? She looked up and saw Papa Drosselmeyer smiling gently at her. I have something for you, my dear. And do you know what that was? Why, it was Nutcracker. And he was mended. His teeth were straight and his jaw worked perfectly. Marie hugged him tightly. She had tears in her eyes as she thanked her papa, dear Papa Dosselmeyer. That night Marie couldn't sleep. Just after the clock chimed midnight, she heard strange sounds, clanging and clashing from the living room, then a terrible squeak, then a knock on the bedroom door, and then a voice crying, "Marie, open the door. I have wonderful news." Marie recognized the voice of Nutcracker and let him in. "I have defeated the Mouse King," Nutcracker exclaimed. "It was you who gave me the courage to defeat that nasty creature. To thank you, I wish to give you these." He handed her 7 tiny gold crowns. Marie clasped her hands together with delight. "I must tell you, dear Marie, that I am really a king," said Nutcracker. "A king of the most wondrous land in all the world, Toyland. And now, will you join me as I travel to my kingdom to celebrate this happy occasion?" Marie could think of nothing she would rather do. So he came to visit her and he gave her those 5 rings. Look at this. The dancers, the candy canes, the house back here. Marie followed Nutcracker to the front closet, where Nutcracker revealed a hidden door. Marie was just small enough to climb up this ladder and soon found herself standing in a sweet-smelling meadow. "This is Candy Meadow," said Nutcracker. "Now we will travel through all of Toyland on our way to Mazapan Castle in the City of Sweets. That is where I live." Oh, and Toyland was marvelous. They passed through Almond and Raisin Gateway. They watched a charming ballet. They went by Orange Brook and River Lemonade and past Gingerbread City on the Honey River. In each of these places, Marie saw the most amazing things. Houses and whole villages made of all manner of sweets, and the friendliest people you could ever hope to meet. There were creatures of all kinds, and they were dancing and laughing about in the merriest way. There's all the dancers and the candies. Oh, look at that. They finally came to a rose-colored lake. Nutcracker summoned a jeweled gondola pulled by dolphins to take them across the water. See, there's a gondola, and there's the dolphins. We're going to take them across the water. On and on under a moonlight. See the moonlight? The moonlight sky. They glided over the lake. There ahead lie the City of Sweets and Mazapan Castle. When they arrived, what do you think Marie saw? Only the most beautiful houses, all made of brightly colored candies, and a marketplace full of delicious sweets that made her mouth water. I love her hair. There's a pretty bow in there. Oh, look at that. It's like a really good cake. Nutcracker took Marie up to his castle, where she met all the ladies of the house and the royal pages and such. Everyone was so nice that Marie decided She would never leave. They had a wonderful meal of hundreds of candies and desserts. And then Marie started to yawn and rub her eyes. Can you blame her? She had been through quite a bit of excitement, to say the least, and she had probably eaten a bit too much candy. Indeed, Marie did fall fast asleep to the sound of her beloved Nutcracker talking, and when she awoke, she was in her own bed. Oh, it just couldn't have been a dream, she said sadly. But what was this on her hand? Why, the 7 tiny golden crowns that Nutcracker had given her. Many, many years later, Marie sat in the living room, gazing at her old, beloved Nutcracker in the glass cabinet. Oh, Nutcracker, she said, if only you were really alive, I would love you just as you are. I don't think you're ugly. I think you are handsome. Just then, Marie's mother came in. Sit up like a proper young lady, she said. Papa Dosselmeyer's nephew is here to meet you. Who? Said Marie, sitting up very straight and indeed. In came a handsome young man. He smiled, walked over and took Marie's hand. See? Oh, sweet Marie, he said, I am really alive. You were kind and gentle enough to say that you would love me just as I am, and so here I am. Now would you do me the honor of being my wife and queen of all Toyland? Nutcracker, is it really you? Whispered Marie. Of course I will. Ah, dear children, who can say how much things happen in this world and in the world of toys and dreams? Who can say how love creates its own magic? And who can say whether Queen Marie and her beloved Nutcracker ruled over Toyland to this very day? If you have the eyes and heart for it, dear children, perhaps someday you will visit Toyland, and then you can say, what a wonderful story. I hope you enjoyed the book.